Sound check 1 2 3. Sound check 1 2 3.
Okay. Good morning, everyone. Thank you for being here. Members of council around the table, city staff. We have Councillor Cooper, Councillor Pauls, Councillor Alex Wilson, Councillor Kassar, Councillor Francis. Just teasing you. Just teasing you. Councillor Wang, Councillor Taddison, Councillor Beatty, Councillor Crutch, Councillor Clark, and Councillor Maureen Wilson. And joining us is Councillor Spadafora, and then and Councillor McMeekin. And then online joining us is Councillor Jackson and Councillor Nan. So good morning, everyone. Clerk Trunam, could you please confirm that quorum is present?
Mayor Horvath, quorum is present.
Thanks so much. As we have quorum present for today's meeting, I'd like to call the meeting of City Council to order and ask folks please stand as you can for the national anthem. Thanks very much. Please be seated, everyone. The City of Hamilton is situated upon the traditional territories of the Erie, Neutral, Huron-Wendat, Haudenosaunee. Excuse me for a moment. Okay, my bad. Thank you. Oh, somebody else is speaking now. We're just going to hold on for a minute until we get the audio figured out.
We'll just
We ready?
test that.
Testing?
Yep.
Okay,
We're
we're good. Thanks very much. The City of Hamilton is situated upon the traditional territories of the Erie, Neutral, Huron-Wendat, Haudenosaunee, and Mississaugas. This land is covered by the Dish with One Spoon Wampum Belt Covenant, which was an agreement between the Haudenosaunee and Anishinaabe to share and care for the resources around the Great Lakes. We further acknowledge that this land is covered by the Between the Lakes Purchase 1792 between the Crown and the Mississaugas of the Credit First Nation. Today, the City of Hamilton is home to many Indigenous people from across Turtle Island, North America, and we recognize that we must do more to learn about the rich history of this land so that we can better understand our roles as residents, neighbors, partners, and caretakers. Members are reminded that all electronic devices are to be switched to a non-audible function during council meetings. Members are also reminded of the 5-minute time limit when asking questions and/or making a statement, and that no member of council shall speak more than once on any matter at a council meeting without passing a motion to do so. We're now going to move on then to number 1 on the agenda, which is the approval of the agenda. Are there any amendments to the agenda? Seeing none, may I have therefore a motion to approve the agenda as presented, moved by Councillor Wang, seconded by Councillor Kassar. Can we have a show of hands vote on the agenda, please? And that's carried. Thanks very much. We're now on to declarations of interest. Members of council, are there any declarations of interest? Okay, I myself have a disqualifying interest to item 8.5 of the General Issues Committee minutes of October 22nd, 2025, as I have a vacant property. Lisa will indicate, oh, sorry, there are no other speakers that I know of. Councillor Nan, please go ahead, sorry.
Thank you, no problem, Mayor. On the Emergency Community Services Committee meeting, I have a conflict on item 7.6. Oh, my apologies. No, it is not item 7.6. Item 8.1.
On ESC?
Yes.
Okay, clerk's.
And it is in relation to Wentworth Lodge, and my mother is a resident there.
Okay, thanks for that, Councillor Nan. Okay, so as we know, those who have noted a disqualifying interest will ensure that when it's time to vote on the matter, we abstain, and the disqualifying interest will be noted correctly in the council minutes going forward. So we'll move on now to ceremonial activities, of which there are none, and then on to the approval of the minutes of the previous meeting, 5.1, October 8th, 2025. May I have a motion to approve the minutes of the October 8th, 2025 meeting as presented? Moved by Councillor Kretsch, seconded by Councillor Pauls. Any discussion on the minutes? Seeing none, can we have a show of hands vote then on the minutes? Oh, sorry, on the minutes, Councillor Cooper.
Just on item 7.4, just to update that from a yes for me to, I was not in the room when the vote happened.
Yeah, I'll note that there's just an error in the minutes that we will correct. The vote is correct. The passing of it is correct. However, Councillor Cooper is marked as yes instead of absent, but the correct was correct. So we'll just remove the yes and note him as being absent. But
Okay.
It doesn't impact the vote count or the vote itself.
All right, thanks very much for that bit of housekeeping, Councillor Cooper, appreciate that. So then we'll go back to the vote on the minutes. Show of hands, please. All those in favor? Any opposed? Those minutes carry. Thanks very much. We have now items for information. Appendix A to CM 25011, Council Staff Relationship Policy. This item will be received with item 12.5 after the closed session portion of the meeting. Committee recommendations. So we're into the committee, starting then with GIC 25-4014, General Issues Committee, Special, October 15th, 2025. Councillor Nan, may I please have a motion to receive, approve the recommendations within the General Issues Committee's minutes of October 15th, 2025.
Certainly, it's moved by myself and seconded by Councillor Huang that the GIC 25-014, being the open session minutes of the Special General Issues Committee meeting held on Wednesday, October 25th, 2025, be received and the recommendations contained therein be approved.
Thanks very much. Are there any items within the minutes that members would like to speak to, amend, or have voted on separately? Seeing none, we will then go to the electronic vote on the minutes of the special meeting. That carries 16-0. Thanks very much. On to 7.2, PWC 25-012, Public Works Committee, October 20th, 2025. Councillor Pauls, may I please have a motion to receive and approve the recommendations within the Public Works Committee minutes of October 20th, 2025.
Thank you, Mayor, and it's moved by myself and second by Vice Chair Matt Francis. The PWC 25012 being the minutes of the Public Work Committee held on Monday, October 20th, 2025. Item 7.2 be received and the recommendation contained therein be approved. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any items within the minutes that members would like to speak to, amend, or have voted on separately?
We have Councillor Jackson.
Councillor Jackson, please go ahead.
Good morning, Mayor Horvath. Can you hear me?
I can, thank you. Good morning.
Thank you. Just item 9.5, I want to, because I was in transit a week ago Monday and could not attend the Public Works meeting either in person or virtually. It's about the final completion of the Mountain Brow Boulevard Concession Street reconstruction project with the fabulous, popular multi-use pathway that's been completed, but through complications on the project needed an additional amount of money. And I want to thank a few people. First of all, Councillor Jeff Beattie, because a respected citizen from his ward was concerned about the completion, the tentative and theoretical completion of a Ward 10 project, but with still some construction concrete pathway work to be done for safe passage for his pedestrians. I'm very supportive of the amendment that came forward to keep that project going forward. I want to thank the Ward 10, Ward 5, Ward 14 councillors where completed projects had some surpluses, so I wasn't impacting negatively ongoing projects in other wards, Mayor Horvath, that those monies were used to help offset the complications on this project to get it through. And especially also, I want to thank Director Brian Hollingworth, who over the last week commandeered a way to find a win-win solution so that the contractor could be paid up on Mountain Brow Boulevard and no other negative impacts of other projects that were underway. All those extra monies were taken from completed projects from other areas. So this was more housekeeping, but had some complexities to it and didn't want to impact especially the Ward 10 projects that are still going to be done for the future. So just thanks all around. And Mayor Horvath, I appreciate that you've been up there, and I just want to say this is a citywide legacy project. Just doubly proud it happens to be on the East Mountain. Thank you, Mayor Horvath. I'm supportive of the item.
Well said, Councillor Jackson. It definitely is. It's absolutely gorgeous. Thank you very much. I don't see any further speakers on the list. And so then we will go to the electronic vote, please, on those minutes. That carries 16-0. Thanks very much. We're on to PLC 25-014, Planning Committee, October 21st, 2025. Councillor Wang, may I please have a motion to receive and approve the recommendations within the Planning Committee's open and closed minutes of October 21st, 2025?
Yes, Mayor, moved by myself, seconded by Vice Chair Councillor Taddison, that PLC 25014, being the minutes of the Planning Committee meeting held on Tuesday, October 21, be received and the recommendations contained therein be approved, and that to B, the closed session minutes of Planning Committee meeting held on Tuesday, October 21 be approved as presented and remain confidential.
Thanks very much. Are there any speakers on this item? Seeing none, we'll then go to the electronic vote.
Sorry, question?
Apologies, Mayor.
Oh.
Was that planning? I didn't get a chance to signal in time. Was that on the confidential planning or the open planning?
I'm sorry, I can't hear what you're saying.
Oh, my apologies. Is there an opportunity to introduce an amendment on the planning before the vote is called? My apologies for not clicking the button fast enough. I do have an amendment with respect to item 9.3 within the Planning Committee report.
Okay, so we have an item within the Planning Committee report that Councillor Wilson would like to table an amendment on, and I'm just looking to the clerks. What item is it?
This is the yard maintenance bylaw. So Councillor Maureen Wilson and myself met with staff between committee to just develop language for an amendment with respect to a one-year evaluation of the program. And so that's the intention, is to introduce that amending motion today.
Okay, so then what number is it on the
It's
on the minutes?
9.3 in the planning minutes.
9.3. So we will do that right away and get that amendment addressed. And so then that's moved by Councillor
Alex Wilson and seconded by Councillor Maureen Wilson, just to make it nice and easy for the minutes.
Sorry, go ahead.
And it's just therefore be it resolved that staff report back in Q2 of 2027 with an information report on the first year implementation of the revised yard maintenance bylaw, including year 1 program statistics, and 2, the challenges and opportunities of including expanded prohibited plants list beyond the provincially maintained noxious weeds list.
All right, Clerk. Sure, that might be helpful. Clerk Trenum?
I'll just confirm that I have it. I just want to confirm, so we're not amending the actions there, we're just adding an additional report back on the implementation. Okay, yep.
All right, and so do you want to put the language up? Clerk Trenum, do you have that?
I have it, I'll just put it on the screen.
That would just be helpful and the right way to go so that the councillors know what they're voting on. Thank you. Okay. So this is, again, what's the item?
The yard maintenance bylaw, which is item 9.3 in the planning committee minutes.
Okay, so 9.3 Planning Committee minutes. The amendment is before you. Any discussion? I have Councillor Jackson still on my list, but I can't see you anymore. Councillor Jackson, are you wanting to speak to this item?
No, he's not.
No, okay, great, thank you. So then I don't see any speakers on this, and therefore we'll go to the vote, and I believe it's an electronic vote. So if we could please have that vote up. That carries 16-0. Thanks very much. So then on the balance of the minutes, the PLC 25-014, moved by Councillor Wang and seconded by Councillor Taddison. Any further remarks or items that people would like to discuss? Seeing none, then we'll go to the electronic vote, please. That carries 16-0. Thanks very much. Okay, we are on to 7.4 and 12.3, GIC 25-015, General Issues Committee, October 22nd, 2025. Councillor Nan, may I please have a motion to receive, approve the recommendations within the General Issues Committee's open and closed minutes of October 22nd, 2025, and receive the correspondence items.
Yes, it's moved by myself and seconded by Councillor Taddison that the minutes of the committee be received and recommendations contained therein approved. Closed session minutes be approved as presented and remain confidential, and that the correspondences be received.
Okay, thanks very much. Are there any speakers to this item? I see Councillor Francis is on the speakers list, as well as Councillor Taddison. I need to hand the chair over. Let me just ask, which item is it on?
8.5, a separate
Okay.
vote. I don't need to speak to it.
Oh, well, you just want a separate vote?
Separate vote on it, yeah.
Councillor Taddison? Do you want to speak to it? If you do want to speak to it, it's fine. I just have to remove myself from the chair.
Separate vote on 9.1.
9.1, 8.5 and 9.1. Are there any other speakers to this? Councillor Clark?
Thank you. It's on the same item. There's an amendment, subsection 4, On page 11 of 24, I just wanted to thank staff, death of the owner. So we were looking at the issues with regards to estates. And I had moved a motion to amend it to make it a little bit clearer and provided a little bit more time. Staff came up with the language in this, and it's excellent the way they worded it. So thank you very much.
Okay. Thanks, Councillor Clark. So we're going to continue on with the Clerk Trenum. Shall I put it over to Councillor Wang? Okay.
Let's deal with 8.5 first, and we'll let Councillor Wang chair this portion. And then once we deal with 8.5, then we'll go back to the remainder of the GIC if there are other items.
Perfect. Thank you. Go ahead then, Councillor Wang. Chair's yours.
At this time, we're speaking on 8.5, and as Mayor has declared a conflict, I'm taking over the chair. I understand that Councillor McMeekin has an amendment to item 8.5. Councillor McMeekin? Okay. Councillor McMeekin has withdrawn his amendment. Thank you. Are there any discussion on this item at this point? Councillor Beattie, please.
Thank you, Chair, and through you. Very quickly, and I sent staff some questions as it pertains to the legal authority granted to us by the Municipal Act and when it comes to enacting the program. I've got a response back about a minute and a half ago, so I haven't had a chance to fully digest it. But I'm wondering if at a high level, if somebody is available to kind of speak to it. And the question is this, under the Municipal Act, and sorry, I have to go back to, maybe it's in fairness good for me to read the same question that I sent to staff. The Municipal Act grants us the ability to impose this program on residential tax classes. But we've colored outside the lines a little bit because we've included farm properties and we've included commercial properties. So I had asked the question as to why those properties were included when it's pretty explicit in my interpretation, and perhaps others, that we only have the legal authority in a very narrow bandwidth. So I'm wondering if perhaps there's a high-level answer. Obviously, I've got to go through this in a little more detail. The vote will have concluded by the time I get through my reading, but to GM Zagaric or Director Pereira, as it pertains to the questions that I outlined on our legal authority to go beyond what I identify as residential impact property codes in the 300 series, which is explicitly residential, which is what we're granted authority to do. And we've added farms under the 200 series and commercial under the 400 series.
Through you, Madam Mayor. Mike Zagaric, General Manager, Finance Corporate Services. I'll refer this to Director Pereira. Unfortunately, Director Pereira is a little under the weather today, so participating virtually. Director Pereira can take us through the application of the VUT in the context of the Municipal Act and the Assessment Act, and where there are mixed-use properties, so he can answer those questions. Thank you.
Director, please.
Good morning. Clayton Pereira, Director of Revenue Services, through the chair. In short, the property codes made reference to by Councillor Beattie are actually mixed use assessments. So they have a farm/residential component, commercial/residential component. So while the Municipal Act is very specific in making reference to the VUT charge for only the residential assessment, these mixed properties essentially are addressing only the residential assessment component of the total mixed assessment value. So we have to be very careful in ensuring that the assessment ultimately that is requested by the property owner to declare is on the RT defined by MPAC as the residential assessment.
Thank you for the answer, Director. As it pertains specifically to the 200 series codes as defined by MPAC, which pertains to farms. I would make note that Ottawa, which we often hold ourselves against as the gold standard for this program, has exempted, my understanding, and I stand to be corrected publicly, my understanding is that Ottawa has exempted farm properties entirely. But that's a different matter. I'm remaining concerned about our position that this may not stand up over the long term in terms of a challenge if we were to be challenged by this from a legal perspective. There may be a door there that somebody can walk through, but I'll leave that up to future councils to decide. I also want to make note that MPAC's property code 261 as it pertains to farming, we've excluded that, and it's noted here in the response back from staff that they intend to fix that, but I don't know if everybody has kind of realized what code 261 is. So we've created the ability to include regular everyday farmers and their farm properties in the program. But code 261 is essentially a non-farm residence on a farm property. So think of, I think, what some might categorize as McMansions built on large old farm properties. The farm property is rented out to a cash cropper, but somebody's built a giant luxury home on that property. That's my interpretation of code 261. We've exempted them, and I find that problematic.
Thank you for that. I do have a speakers list, so I'm just going to confirm with the speakers list. I have Councillor Tadeson, Beattie, and the McMeekin, but I think these are all on different topics because Councillor Beattie has already spoken at 8.5. Okay, Councillor Tadeson, you're not on 8.5? Councillor McMeekin, are you on 8.5? Okay, thank you. Seeing as there are no other speakers, we are now voting on 8.5, please. May I have your vote electronically? Vote carries 8-7 with 1 abstention. Chair is back to you, Mayor.
Thanks very much, Councillor Wang. Appreciate that. We're now on to then 9.1. Somebody wanted 9.1 to be separated out. That would be Councillor Tadeson. Please go ahead.
So this is on the consideration for a rural residential property credit in stormwater management fee rebate structure. And I would just like a separate vote to show my continued support for a study on what many rural residents feel would be a step towards equity by the city in terms of the stormwater management fees and their homes not being connected to the built system. Thank you.
Thanks, Councillor Tadeson. Any further speakers on 9.1? Seeing none, then we'll go to the vote. Okay, so just let's hold on. Councillor Pauls has identified she might have had a wrong vote. So this is on the amendment that was brought by Councillor Tadeson. It was defeated at committee, and so now he's asked for it to be raised from the minutes and be, voted on separately again here at council. And so let's clear that vote. And is everybody clear that we're on Councillor Tadeson's amendment? And I see Councillor McMeekin, or sorry, his motion.
Have you recognized me, Your Worship?
Yes, I just want to check with the clerk. So we're going to vote over because there was a concern from Councillor Pauls. In the interim, Councillor McMeekin has asked to say a few words. Is there anybody else that wishes to speak to this?
So this is to speaking to 9.1.
This is 9.1.
Okay, so we'll cancel the vote. And
yes,
then,
please.
Yep, we'll cancel the vote if Councillor McMeekin would like to spepe to it.
That's right.
Okay.
So just for clarification, because I support my good friend Councillor Tadeson and his highly principled stand to provide some relief to beleaguered farmers. So a yes vote would be in support of his amendment?
His motion, yes.
Yeah, okay, thanks.
Thanks for that clarification, Councillor McMeekin. So then we're on then to the motion that is before us, 9.1. And can we go to the electronic vote, please? And that's defeated 5 to 11. Thanks very much. On the balance of this report, are there any other speakers or anybody wants to raise anything else from this report? Seeing none. Oh, sorry, Councillor Cooper, please go ahead.
Thank you, Your Worship. On 8.5.
I'm sorry, we've already dealt with 8.5. We've already dealt with 8.5. We're going to move on. It's off the floor. Thanks very much then. Anything else on this report? Seeing none, we'll go to then the vote on the balance of the report. Or the minutes, apologize. That carries 16 to 0. Thanks very much. We're on to 7.4 and 12.3 GIC 25-015 General Issues Committee, October 22nd, 2025. Councillor Nam, may I please have a motion to receive?
Sorry.
I'm sorry.
It's 7.5. We're on to AFNA.
Oh, sorry, we just did that one. I didn't turn my page. 7.5 AFNA 25-012 Audit, Finance and Administration Committee, October 23rd, 2025. Councillor Spadafora, may I please have a motion to receive and approve the recommendations within the Audit, Finance and Administration Committee's minutes of October 23rd, 2025.
Good morning. Moved by myself, second by Vice Chair Councillor Jeff Beattie, that the AFNA 25-012, being the minutes of the AFNA committee meeting held on October 23rd, be received and the recommendations contained therein be approved.
Thanks very much, Councillor Spadafora. Any items on these minutes that people would like to have voted on separately or discussed at this council meeting? Councillor Kassar.
Thank you, Mayor Horvath. I'm not on the AFNA committee, but I did watch a little bit of the tape around item 6.1, in particularly 6.1 Roman numeral 2. There was a vote on a motion. I'll just read it out. That staff be directed to investigate the feasibility of providing relief respecting development charges for situations where demolition credits have expired, including but not limited to the possibility of resurrecting those credits or developing a grant program and report back to the Audit, Finance and Administrative Committee in Q1 2026. So I'd like to start with a question to staff, if I could, to frame up that agenda item number and the reason why it was on the agenda at AFNA.
Okay, so this is on delegations 6.1 sub 2?
Yes.
Okay, please go ahead.
Yeah, so my question is to staff to just give an overview of that
sorry,
topic, please.
GM Zagaric, please.
Thank you.
Through you, Madam Mayor. There was a delegation at Audit, Finance, Admin with respect to a property that is under development. The delegation sought to have development charge credits extended that had previously expired. This was a property that the historic use, the Studebaker property, the facilities were demolished in 2017. And under our development charge policies, when a property is demolished, the development charge credits extend for a period of up to 5 years, meaning that any future development would benefit from the previous footprint of the facilities on those lands as it relates to development charges. The then property owner in 2022 sought to have those development charges extended an additional 5 years. Council of the day declined the extension of the development charges, therefore the development charges expired. And consequently, staff do not see a path forward currently with respect to how to resurrect development charges, but we will as per the direction, we will review that and report back whether or not resurrecting development charges, whether we have the authority to resurrect development charges, and any pros or cons as it relates to resurrecting development charges. Beyond the opportunity with respect to resurrecting development charges, staff were also directed to review whether or not a grant would be applicable, not just as it relates to this property, but as it relates to other types of properties, such as brownfield developments. We currently have a brownfield grant, and we would work with our colleagues in economic development and planning and economic development to review whether or not there's a rationale for revising our brownfield grant as it relates to this property or other like properties. And so that was the direction to staff, and we would report back in collaboration with finance, planning, economic development, legal services, and the clerks as it relates to the issues surrounding resurrection of development charges. Thank you.
Councillor Sarr?
Okay, thanks, Mayor Horvath, and thanks, GM Zagarek. I also understood that there was actually a previous extension request in 2017 for this property. So in 2022 it was denied, in 2017 it was extended, so it was actually, it's been 13 years now. I guess I struggle a little bit with this because it's a specific instance that's kind of informing potential policy rather than looking at the policy holistically and what we should do. So I thought it was an odd one and important that for those of us not in the AFNA that we hear from the GM on how that came to be. Thank you.
Okay, thanks, Councillor Cassar. Councillor Kretsch, please.
Thanks, and I was going to ask for a separate vote on this anyway, so thanks for raising it, Councillor Cassar. I want to speak to it briefly. Just to reiterate what I said to the committee, we spent a long time this term of council, and frankly, the last term of council, probably every term of council, what do I know, reviewing development charges, making sure our policies make sense. And what I heard at the meeting was this wasn't a priority that was raised by the development industry in terms of resurrecting these expired development charges. We have a policy already for this. I'm not in support of this at all. I think it's important also to hear from the ward councillor on the subject, and I see she's on the speaker, so that's good. That was my suggestion then, was to let this go, let it be raised at council, to hear from her about it. Regardless of whether or not this is about trying to do something related to a policy, the message it's clearly going to send is, if your development charge has expired, which by the way, I think is the entire framework of the development charges policy in some ways, is we set expiries as part of it. That people should come down here, delegate, and have us go and investigate on their behalf how we can resurrect an expired development charge against our own policy that we just approved in this term of council. It makes absolutely no sense to me. I think it sends the wrong message, and I think it's something we shouldn't be supporting here. We've spent a considerable amount of time, staff have already weighed in on the subject and said, look, this isn't something that we support. So I think we should support the staff position on that. Thank you.
Thanks, Councillor Kretsch. So I'm just going to ask if there are two other speakers. Just want to clarify whether you're on this item or another one so we can keep everything tight. Councillor Clark, this item? Okay, please go ahead.
Thank you, Mayor Horvath. Two questions first and then a quick comment. So can I hear from GM Zagarek, the development charge credit when there's demolition, our policy says maximum of 5 years. Is that correct?
James Garrett?
Through the chair, that's correct. And I just want to recognize Councillor Cassar is correct. The original demolition was in 2012.
And I was going to get to that exactly. So then it was extended again by the council, and that would have been 2022 was the last time it expired, correct?
Through the chair, that's correct. It was extended in 2017, and the 5-year term brought it to an expiry date of 2022.
Last question. What's the rationale for putting time limits on those credits?
James Garrick?
Yeah, through you, Madam Mayor, two parts. First part is to encourage redevelopment of the site, to discourage having vacant land, a gap on a street in a community. The second part is there could be a tax benefit when a building is demolished. then the land is considered vacant for development, and there could be a tax benefit that accrues to the property owner. So they are realizing some financial relief over the 5-year period leading up to the expiry of the development charge credit.
Thank you. So the policy is very clear. We do this to ensure that development happens on that land. And if we continue to extend, then we find ourselves in a situation where we're not collecting the same amount of taxes on that land. So it's not in the city's best interest to continue to allow 10-year extensions on development charges. So I don't see the rationale for having our staff go out and do a bunch of research to come back and tell us that our policy is sound as it stands today, and it's political decisions where these extensions are permitted that create challenges for the municipality fiscally. And so we shouldn't be doing it just to make developers happy. We should be making sure that we do everything we can to encourage developments or developers to get on with their plan for that property and not leave it vacant. So I opposed it at committee, and I continue to oppose it. Thank you.
Thanks, Councillor Clark. Councillor Nan, on this item or something different? On this item, please go ahead.
Yes, thank you. If I could, through you, appreciate the questions that my colleagues have asked both at AFNA and today. I did have a question about how the delegation came to the agenda. It was my understanding that delegations are permitted onto an agenda so long as the delegation request pertains to an agenda item. So was this delegation in response to a report item or an agenda item?
Clerk Trenum?
Mayor, if a delegation request comes in and it is pertinent to an item on the agenda, it's added right up until noon the day before. If it is received and is not pertinent to an item currently on an agenda, it just must be submitted within 14 days of the meeting, after which, if you are too close to the meeting, it gets bumped to the next meeting, presuming it is within the jurisdiction or mandate of the committee.
And can I just ask then, in this case, I think that's what Councillor Mann's getting at, was this 14 days before, or was it because it's on an item in the agenda? Just to be clear. Sorry, Councillor Nan.
I believe it was because it was 14 days prior.
14 days prior?
Okay, thank you. Appreciate that clarity. I just wanted to understand how it got on the agenda. And then to clarify, the original demolition on this property site, and Mayor, was in 2012. The municipality, by nature of our policy, granted a 5-year extension. Then council approved further extensions. Could I get comment from staff? Those further extensions that were approved in 2017, were those by way of a motion by council/committee, or was that by way of a report recommendation from staff? If I could get clarity on that, please.
James Garrick?
Through you, Madam Mayor, it was through a report, and I would have to go back. I don't recall whether staff recommended the extension or provided options.
Thank you. I'm also going to oppose the direction here. I'm with my colleagues in that I believe that the policy is sound. It enables for fair implementation. I think that it is in our municipal best interest to make sure that development happens. I think that 5 years is a generous grace period. And I would agree that if we continue to extend, especially in a scenario that we're looking at with this property, 13 years, I don't know if other properties are similarly in multi-decade delays, but I don't think that it's something worth pursuing. So I'll be opposing the motion. Thanks.
Thanks, Councillor Nan. Councillor Beattie, please go ahead.
Thank you, Mayor, and through you. I just want to kind of go back to some of the conversation that we were having in the meeting, myself as seconder and my mover colleague, Councillor Huang. The bulk of the conversation didn't specifically revolve around the delegation itself, although this is a example. And I think that staff, that the complexities of resurrecting expired credits is probably not feasible, and I think the intent was to firmly rule it out as an option, which then would possibly lead towards a granting opportunity. The specifics and the extenuating circumstances, as I heard it, is that brownfield redevelopment is very, very tenuous. It's very, very complex, and it leads to a number of delays. There were things found on the property that weren't expected that ended up extending the remediation process. COVID happened. That led to an extension of the redevelopment process. We've had various economic uncertainty items, for lack of a better term, that have extenuating circumstances and elongated the development process, just one after another after another. And if it is our intent to try to focus brownfield development, redevelopment, as opposed to greenfield development, what other tools might be possibly available that we as a municipality could offer to try to incentivize and focus that redevelopment of these existing sites so that we don't have to go on to expanding into greenfield areas. That was really the crux of the motion and the direction. It's just to have staff come back with some options so that we can continue to focus our redevelopment in these areas where there's a lot of risk and there's a lot of complexity, and it leads to inherent delay. And that, I hope, would satisfy those that had some on-the-fence questions about the direction that we were heading, not trying to specifically grant expired credits. That wasn't the true intent. It's to look at options to try to incentivize brownfield redevelopment.
Thanks, Councillor Beattie. I don't see anybody else on the list, but I'm going to hand the chair over to Councillor Wang just so that I can have some clarification myself. So I'm just reading the motion, and I just want to be clear here, that staff be directed to investigate the feasibility of providing relief, respecting development charges for situations, et cetera, et cetera. And so to report back to AFNA in Q1 2026. So really there's no change to how we're dealing with this particular property. There's no change to our existing policy. There's simply a request for a report back, which may or may not recommend something or another when it comes to this property or properties of this nature. Is that correct through you?
Through the chair, that's correct. Staff would report back with respect to the authority to resurrect or the rationale to resurrect expired development charges, and as well whether there's a rationale to amend our, for instance, our brownfield grant program, not only as it relates to this property, but other like properties.
Thanks. Then just through you, a final comment, Acting Deputy Mayor. I never have a problem getting information, and that's all this is asking for, is further information and understanding of what the possibilities may be. And upon that report being provided, a decision can be made by the committee and then the council subsequently. So thanks for that clarification. I very much appreciate it. I take the chair back then. I don't see any further speakers on the Councillor Nance, so we're not doing 2 times on each one. You have one chance to speak to an item. You've done so. So we're going to have an agenda that follows that procedural bylaw unless you want to have a motion to go on for a second time.
Oh, I wasn't aware that we were.
I'm sorry?
I apologize. I wasn't aware that we're moving to a one time only on items because a question came up in response to the discussion on the table.
Yeah, that is part of our procedural bylaw, but what can be done is a motion can be requested, or you can put a motion forward requesting a second time to speak. So it's not anything other than putting a motion forward if that's what you require.
I would like to do that then.
Okay, so that's moved by Councillor Nan, seconded by Councillor Jackson. All those in favor, a show of hands, please. Okay, that's carried. So please go ahead, Councillor Nan.
Thank you. I appreciate that, Mayor. So if I'm understanding this correctly, this is not specific to this one site, even though the motion is titled specifically to this site. So Councillor Beattie was trying to lend some clarity around the information that he's seeking and other committee members were seeking, yet the direction is tied to the title of the report or title of the motion, which says very specifically as it relates to one credit extension at a specific address. So if I could get clarity on that procedurally, and depending on that clarity, I may have some follow-up questions.
Thanks, Councillor Nan. I'll put it over to the clerk, but my understanding is this is on the agenda because of a request for a delegation, and then subsequently a motion was put forward that was broader in nature. The motion itself, as I read it, does not refer to the actual development itself. The motion is more broad, but I can ask the clerk and/or Jim Zagaric to confirm.
I would agree with your interpretation. It has no impact on the specific matter of the delegation.
Okay, Councillor Nan? Oh, Jim Zagaric, anything to add?
Yeah, through you, Madam Mayor, I would agree with the clerk's interpretation.
Okay, Councillor Nan, please go ahead.
Okay, thank you. I just wanted to make sure that that was publicly clarified. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Nan. I don't see any further speakers on this item, so we will go to the electronic vote, please. And that carries 10-6. Thanks very much, everyone. We're on now to the balance of this report, AFNA 25-012. Any further speakers to this report? No? Okay, we'll go then to sorry, the minutes. I keep saying report, I apologize. The minutes. We'll go to the electronic vote, please, then, on the balance of the minutes. And that carries 16-0. Thanks very much. Item 7.6 is ECS 25-010, Emergency and Community Services Committee, October 23rd, 2025. Councillor Nan, may I please have a motion to receive and approve the recommendations within the Emergency and Community Services Committee minutes of October 23rd, 2025, and receive the correspondence item?
Certainly,
and I believe that you also will be declaring your interest.
Yeah, I did it at the agenda at the top end during declarations, but I will be requesting a separate vote on item 8.1 so I can vote accordingly. Moved by myself, seconded by Vice Chair Clark, that the ECS 25-010 being the minutes of Emergency Community Services Committee held on Thursday, October 23rd, 2025 be received and the recommendations contained therein be approved, and that the following correspondence items be received. Correspondence from Medora Uppal, CEO, YWCA Hamilton, respecting item 9.1, feasibility of reintroducing neighborhood action strategy.
Okay, thanks very much. So we will be voting separately on 8.1. Is there any other discussion on this item? Oh, I'm sorry.
Just because of the declaration, can we maybe ask for a separate mover and seconder for 8.1?
A separate mover and seconder at that point in time, after the speakers have spoken. Yes, okay, thank you. I have Councillor Kretsch on the list.
Thanks very much. The only other item on the agenda was an item to look at the neighborhood action strategy. And I want to speak briefly to that because the YWCA didn't get a chance to put their letter in time for emergency and community services. And so it's here today. I just wanted to say thank you to them for putting in a letter of support. And for those who don't know, this program was helping neighborhoods and largely speaking, quote unquote, code red neighborhoods. So we all understand that study that was done and trying to lend support to them. It was a joint program between a number of partners, but primarily the City of Hamilton and the Hamilton Community Foundation. And the city decided they had $2 million investment in this project, and the city decided to wind that investment down. When they did that, then the Hamilton Community Foundation wound their investment down. So I just wanted to say that what we're looking at doing here is trying to provide some other kind of programming, look at the success of that, see what we can bring back, because neighborhoods have been pretty dramatically impacted by the fact that they haven't had those supports. I won't get into the whole discussion we had at ECS today. Just wanted to say that thanks to the YWCA, thanks to the Hamilton Community Foundation for their support. I've had some conversations with people already about this. I know people are looking forward to seeing the staff engagement around this to talk about what is possible. This won't be coming forward as a budget ask in this year. I also want to say this is meant to be a chance to look at the program, decide what the successes were, and see what we can bring back in a future budget year. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Kretsch. Councillor Wang, please.
Thank you. I wanted to speak on 9.1 as I'm in support of this motion. I remember when I was in economic development and how important the neighborhood action strategy was. And also just the sheer amount of leaders that it pumped out. But I am very interested in seeing the report back on the feasibility and the goods and the bads of it, because there were a lot of challenges with that program as well, but it was a good value for dollar at the time. And again, we're in a very different time today. So I think that having this report back will be very helpful in how we engage with community. Thank you.
Thanks, Councillor Wang. Councillor Spatafora on 9.1 as well?
Yes, Mayor. Just looking for some clarification either from yourself or GM Zagaric. So this would be above and beyond the financing we currently give the Y. So the YW, I think, annually get.
Okay, hold on.
So
this is, I will have it over to GM Zagaric, but
some
this
clarity.
is yes. GM Zagaric, did you want to respond to that one? Or GM Mader?
Through the chair, Grace Mader, General Manager, Healthy and Safe Communities. At the present time, there is no financial ask on this at all. There is no money being directed to any agency whatsoever. This was a direction back to staff to do a report and come back to ECS in Q2 of 2026.
Thank you. Councillor Spatafora?
Okay, so just GM Mader, I'm assuming when that report comes back, there's going to be financial implications tied to the report?
Through the chair, that what we'll be doing is scoping out what the actual need is, what the resources are required, and what that financial component would be.
Okay, thanks very much. Apologies, Jim Zagaric. Okay, that's fine then. Councillor Spatafora, you have the information you need? Okay, perfect. Councillor McMeekin, please go ahead. Is this 9.1 as well?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
I try as best I can to catch the small print in agendas that usually correlates with correspondence that comes in. Often we simply just vote to receive it when there are some hidden gems of wise counsel there. And I just want to draw particular attention because I caught Medora's letter and would just like to read for the record a phrase in her letter that caught my attention and to which I totally ascribe positively towards. She says, in a time of rising inequality, deepening social divisions, and growing public disconnection from decision-making, it is more important than ever to invest in the potential of local resident investments in neighborhood-level civic participation. That, Your Worship, characterizes a belief that is so fundamental to why I, and I suspect others, are sitting around this horseshoe. The more we can listen to that kind of advice and to the best of our ability and within whatever limitations there are, respond to it, we're a better city for it. Thanks.
Thanks, Councillor McMeekin. I see no further speakers on these minutes. Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, Councillor Nam, please go ahead on 9.1.
On 9.1, yes. Thank you, Mayor. Through you, if I could, it was clarified during Emergency Community Services Committee just to kind of contemplate where this report would fit in terms of existing mandates within healthy and safe communities. And if I could, through you to General Manager Mader, we heard from you at committee that it does correlate into some of the work of the Community Safety and Wellbeing Plan. If you could just shed a little light there in terms of what that plan does and how this direction may support some of the work that's happening in response to that plan as well. Thank you.
Thank you. GM Mader, please go ahead.
Through the chair, to the councillor, Yeah, we see it aligning very much with the work and the priorities that have been identified under the community safety and well-being. It sits in our children and community services and community strategies division within HCS. And so I think it aligns most appropriate there. We would also look at what are the resources that might already be available that we can also tap into. How can this maybe align with some of those current initiatives that could be refocused, repurposed, those kinds of things. So we want to be able to look at it in a holistic way. Also, too, with the work then, the investments that we're also doing through the Housing Services Division and the Housing Secretariat, a lot of those components all add together about how we support neighborhoods.
Thank you for that. And I really do look forward to the report back, Mayor. I think it's important to look at it from a holistic lens, to not assume that this is necessarily going to be some sort of cost increase on taxpayers, but instead really look at the need in our community, look at what we are resourcing our communities with, and how we might be able to consider what needs to happen moving forward for our municipality, especially in an era of increased social division. We know that post-pandemic, we've seen a decrease in the number of volunteers in our communities. We've seen a decrease in the number of resident leaders in our communities as it relates to especially those neighborhoods that have been impacted disproportionately from a socioeconomic lens perspective. And so when we tend to our communities as municipalities in these ways, by equipping our communities to build their capacity to engage not only in an analysis of what assets are in our communities, what services are working, what services are not, we enable our residents to be able to participate in their own city in a way that fosters well-being for everybody and makes those communities that otherwise feel like they're full of tension, one towards where understanding can be fostered and that we can thrive in those communities in a dialogue that's respectful versus one that's divisive. So really appreciating the work that was previously done towards those goals in neighborhood action and truly seeing the need for it again. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Nan. I see no further speakers on this report, so what I'm going to ask is for a mover and seconder of 8.1 because it needs to be voted on separately. So that's moved by Councillor Alex Wilson and seconded by Councillor McMeekin. So we'll go with 8.1 first. Up. That carries 15-0 with one abstention. And then on the balance of these minutes, please, can we have that vote up? And that carries 16-0. Thanks very much, all. We are now on to 7.7, SABC 25-008, Selection Committee for Agencies, Boards, and Subcommittees, October 27th, 2025. Councillor Cassar, may I please have a motion to receive and approve the recommendations within the Selection Committee for Agencies, Boards, and Subcommittees minutes of October 27th, 2025?
You certainly can, Mayor Horvath. It's moved by me, seconded by Councillor Alex Wilson, that SABC 25-008, being the minutes of the Selection Committee for Agencies, Boards, and Subcommittees meeting held on Monday, October 27, 2025, item 7.7, be received and the recommendations contained therein be approved.
Okay, thanks very much for that. I don't see any speakers to these set of minutes, so seeing none, then we'll go to the electronic vote, please. And that carries 16-0. Thanks very much. There are no items under item 8 for consideration. So then we are now on to motions. Section 9. 9.1, amendment to item 4 of the Audit, Finance, and Administration Committee Report 21-022 respecting investing in city roads and sidewalks infrastructure with Canada Community Building Funds, which was approved by Council on December 15th, 2021. Councillor Beattie, would you please present your motion?
Thank you, Mayor. I'm going to troll for a seconder, but I hope that, thank you, Councillor Huang. I have a seconder in Councillor Huang. This is this convoluted, the world's most difficult way to repave a road. The CCBF council members will recall was a funding allotment made by the previous council, and we're now coming to the end of that funding window. All I'm going to do is read the therefore be it resolved. The crux of this is to allocate the remaining portion of the CCBF funds that were made available for the Ward 10 community to a section of Prestige Drive. And if you're familiar at all with that road, it's kind of like driving on the slalom course or a roller coaster, and we hope to amend that and have that fixed for the 2026 construction season. My thanks to Bob Marks and the contract group for helping me get this prepared and making it fit within a rather compressed budget, but we're going to make it work, and I'm very happy to see this get done. So therefore be it resolved, Madam Mayor, that item 4 of the Audit, Finance, and Administration Committee Report 21-022 respecting investing in city roads and sidewalk infrastructure with Canada Community Building Fund be amended as follows. 4, that investing in city roads and sidewalk infrastructure fund with Canada Community Building Funds, PW 21073, citywide item 10.1, that the Canada Community Building Fund investment of $30 million be allocated to the list of projects in Appendix B as amended by adding resurfacing on Prestige Drive, Dynasty Avenue to Harbright Drive in Ward 10 for $180,000 and sidewalk repairs throughout Ward 10 as determined in conjunction with the Ward 10 Councillor's Office, $93,000, to the Audit and Finance Committee Report 21-022, that 3 Public Works temporary full-time equivalents be hired for up to 24 months at an estimated cost of $850,000 be funded from the unallocated capital levy reserve 108020 to deliver the Canada Community Building Fund projects, and that the procurement policy 4.9 consulting and professional services requirements be waived to allow for the direct award of roster assignments above $150,000 threshold for consultancy work pertaining to the Canada Community Building Fund projects. Just a reminder that this is not asking for any new FTEs to be hired. That was already done. It's just a legacy wording that I have to continually read in and take questions on. And also making note that the residual amount of $93,000 being allocated towards beefing up some of the sidewalk repairs in the ward as well. Hoping for universal adoption. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. So that's moved by Councillor Beattie and seconded by Councillor Wang. Any discussion on this one, folks? Seeing none, we'll go to the vote. That carries 16-0. Thanks very much. We're now on to 9.2, which is a motion being moved by Councillor Pauls. Councillor Pauls, please present your motion.
Thank you, Mayor. And actually, this is just an amendment. Last meeting, we had given $500 for Thanksgiving and $500 for Christmas dinner, and it was done under 395 Mohawk Senior Committee, but it needs to be changed to Lynn Act and Bev Wilson. They are the community leaders in our city housing that have provided Thanksgiving dinner at a discount